Welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave, waking up for a very early and eventful Saturday morning over here in Helsinki, Finland. Want to be wishing you well, want to be wishing you the best, and my God, we finally have something new to look at. So, of course, the more bullish of the two scenarios was activated, and now I'm actually a little bit long in my main account. So, with that said, let's get into the live scene, and as always, wish you the best. So, oh yes, that's right. I always have to set this up so I remember to talk about this, but all my programs are on sale for the rest of the month, as it is the 1-year anniversary of this channel, the 1-year anniversary of this community, actually. And that means that the Trade Like a Professional program, the Master Your Options program, and the Jewel Indicators are all on sale with 20% off. Use the code, as you see right here, year20 in all capitals, YEAR, and then the numbers 20. So, of course, I always want to make sure that when explaining these programs, that they are for the people who really want to go deeper, who really want to learn technical analysis and trading. More importantly, trading as a whole, as the technical analysis program is fully encompassing as a living. So I understand that that's not going to be most people, which I want to make very, 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 very clear that if that is not you, then these programs probably are way too much overkill. You don't need them. They are just going to be too much. And really, to be quite honest, all my free content will get you probably 99.9% of the way that you want to be. I have plenty of free playlists in my YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. But if you are that person who wants to go a little bit deeper, then these would be designed for you. Understand that the programs are the technical analysis program and the Master Your Options program are 35-hour long plus programs. And then, of course, not only that, but you'll also be, investing into the hidden members only Discord community. So I want to make sure that the integrity of that group stays similar. So I always want to get that out there that, hey, if you don't have that full conviction, then probably not for you. But of course, for the people who are, well, then that's exactly who it's designed for. So with that said, let's take this off and get back on over to the actual charts, as we actually do have some new to talk about, which is, it feels so fucking good. We have something new to fucking talk about. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I could have taken another week of this action right over here. But of course, all lower time frames closing over the critical area that we've been speaking about, that 3940-ish area, I believe, all the way up to perhaps an 8-hour. No, the 8-hour has not officially closed above, but 6-hour has, and that's good enough for me. Overall, if Bitcoin does come back down to about 3960-ish area, I'll actually start a long on my streamer account. I do not have a long position on my streamer account, only my main account. When I wake up when I get woken up by alarms in the middle of the night, I only do actions on my main account, because it's like, I just want to fucking sleep, man. But I actually did take a long on my main account, and I'll be searching for a long anywhere right around here, which is also the 6-hour 377. I'd imagine that anywhere right above about 3950-ish area, probably going to be defended if it's going to maintain the more bullish posture, which I believe it probably is. So, of course, all higher time frames are signaling, well, we haven't really gotten closes just yet, so, it always can morph around. But you do see that the 2-day 50 exponentials actually is coming in right around the current price action. Did get the last high, and that is what we're struggling with right now. That will be ending later tonight, I believe. No, sorry. We just got a new tick on this. Actually. Okay, so this is a completely new 2-day dildo. All right, well, fair enough. What is the 2-day Stokes looking like? Yes, they are crossing up. So this is obviously going to take another 2 days to confirm. Sorry, I thought it was ending tonight, which would have held a lot more weight. But it looks like we're actually gonna have to wait on this gender neutral indicator. 2-day RSI looking fine to me, actually. 2-day Jewel actually bouncing off of one of the signals, but not a full signal in and of itself. I want to go back to the daily. However, daily Stokes never cross down, and this is the power of the daily Stokes, which just have, I really don't like trading on the opposite side of them, is the whole thing. And you do see that on the way down, it got the whole move down from the last stab at 4200 all the way down to 36. And it's been up ever since. So, looking at something like this, I wouldn't really, I'd kind of be looking at this as like an overall gauge for this move. Essentially, as long as that is pointed up, I do not want to be short. Don't want to be holding directional shorts at the very least. And by the same token, I really don't see all that much stopping you from, this 4150, 4200-ish area, just right where we were last. Let's put on the volume profile and see what it's suggesting. We do see a little bit of activity. Yeah, exactly, right around 4150. So I imagine if we do get back around there, probably will initiate appreciate some selling, and that would be the first area that I look for like a major pullback, some consolidation going on. But for right now, lower time frames look good. All lower time frames look good to me. Let's get these guys off, or let's take off the, or no. I want to show the volume profile on the lower time frames first. Yeah, you do see some activity right where we are right now, right around the low 4,000s number. That is also the 12-hour 200 exponential as well. If you can see right here, whoops, it's just kind of coming in. 12-hour actually gets it quite well indeed. You see this massive spike right here, and also the 200 exponential, all coming into conflict with each other, and Joule actually given a long signal in the early morning hours as well, so not bad. 12-hour Stokes will be crossing up, fresh cross up, defending, getting out of the bullish control zone, so this is a pretty good setup right here. I'd imagine that the next sort of key of this, and I think that this is probably what does happen, is that we actually close this 12-hour delta above the 200 exponential. Now, of course, my opinion is unneeded. You know, I don't trade my opinion. I trade technical analysis. And if the 12-hour does close below the 200 exponential right here, does that necessarily mean that the move is over and that it's never going to go higher? No, not necessarily. But I would be looking for that move back down to perhaps tap around 39.50-ish area. By the same token, if we do end above the 200 exponential, I would be looking for more immediate continuation to about the 4150, 4200 level. More immediate meaning, you know, within the next few days. You do see some interesting things going on with the volume metrics right here, which if we were be held in below the 200 exponential in the 12-hour, you could make the argument that this is just consolidation, but I don't believe that that's the right way to be interpreting this. I think right now is a time where you have to realize, even if you are overall bearish, it's not the right time to be fucking bearish right now. Again, my big area was right here at 39.30. As soon as that got taken out, this blue box territory right here, no, from a more higher time frame perspective, I don't really see the immediate bear case. Does that mean that I believe that the overall lows are in? Probably not. Still, again, all of the macro areas have still not been hit, even with this nice $150 move. Doesn't mean that it can't change on this move, but for now, macro, all the macro time frames still not hit. So again, let's actually go over to CMEs, which CMEs did not get the same breakout, and this is what does concern me. So presenting the other side, as I will be a little more bullish innately right now, but presenting the other side for the bears. CME charts, which I do believe run this market, did close the week out at 38.90, which is right alongside this trend line right here, going all the way back from late November, which has governed all the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 highs. So here's going to be the next thing for me on the medium time frames, is that if spot opens up above 3,900, if spot is above 3,900 when CMEs open up at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, then I will be very bullish for probably a move all the way to here, 4,200, 4,250, something like that. Exactly where the 89 exponential is, kind of where your prior highs were as well. That is if spot is trading above 3,900 when CMEs open on Sunday. If we do get one of those major hunts that we saw a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, where we got this guy right here, let me just take everything off. We got this guy right here over the weekend. Then that would kind of change the scores. But for now, I don't really think that's what's. I don't think that's really the main interpretation of this. And I do think that it's quite likely that that spot is trading above 3,900. But hey, if it were to come back down below 3,900 before CME's open at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, then yes, I would be immediately bearish. But again, this looks fine to me. If we do open above this area, it's also going to be taking out this trend line for the first time in 3-4 months. That's a big deal, and I'd be looking for straight up continuation rather quickly to about 42, maybe even above 4,200 before the first major pullback. So yeah, let's go see how GBTC closed on the week. The GBTC actually, again, having a nice pick me up off this playing rope it up along this support and right above this horizontal right here. Overall trying to reaccumulate is what it looks like to me into some sort of an ascending triangle, most likely, as long as it holds this trend line at $4.42. As we were saying yesterday, I don't really see a reason to be bearish on this just yet. Yes, there is bearish divergence on the daily, but I believe that it's already played out. we had 1, 2, 3 stabs and all the way back down from, what was this? This was a good percentage move now, wasn't it? Yeah, about 11% move. I'd say that played out. And now we're just kind of coming back up and reaccumulating. So, resistance right around here, 482. Again, I'm going to need to see the open on this on Monday, but I would imagine that if Bitcoin does break out, we're also going to see GBTC open above 490. And as far as GBTC is concerned, this thing actually has a little bit more room to run. We might even fill the gap all the way at $5.30, which would put spot somewhere around 4,500, 4,400, which is kind of where my personal opinion is more in line with. But for now, just going to go back to Bitcoin. Very low time frames. Does look like we found a local top right here. Shooting star dildo in the very low time frames and continuation off of it. Hourly Stokes will be, likely crossing down. But I'd just be looking for a pullback here, and anything right around the top of this blue box territory, I'd actually, that's actually where I'm going to look for a long on my stream account. So I will actually play this on my stream account, the first trade in a while. I mean, it hasn't really been too eventful in this range right here. So yeah. What else do we have to look at? Let's go over the medium time frames. We haven't really done this just yet. 2 hour, what's 2 hour looking like? 2 hour Stokes are pointed down, are crossing down. Did have a good close on the last one, so if this were to come down, I would just be looking for a little bit of a pullback. I think that probably have a quick tap. If this is going to be the way, it's it's likely going to be a quick tap somewhere right around mid 39s, and then back above 4,000. I do want to see I really do want to see Bitcoin start to close some 4 hour dildos above 4,000. That would be significant. As long as we're kind of kicked out of 4,000 on the on the medium to higher time frames, a little bit more hairy, I suppose. But overall, I mean, this to me is starting to look a little bit more clear. Taking out all these resistances that we spoke about for the prior couple weeks is a big deal. Taking out the 89 exponential, which is not confirmed just yet, but looking good so far. But a long day ahead, to be fair. But looking at the setup on the oscillators looks fine to me. Even daily Jewel was given this would be considered a little bit of a buy signal, not something that I took myself, as I gave it to you actually all the way over here at 38.50, which now looking pretty damn good. But let me just make sure that I'm actually recording. There we go. Okay, good. But assuming that we do close above the 89, which I think is quite likely right now, this is likely to become strong support, which is now coming in around 39.30 still. So yeah. So not only that area, but we're also going to have a contention with our other major higher time frames by end of day on Sunday. So this is a critical next 48 hours, I suppose you could say. If we go over here to the 2 week dildo time frame, I've been following this as well. The 2 week 10 simple moving average also coming in right around that 3,900 level. So it's a daily 89 essentially. It will be the 2 week 10 simple moving average, which we have been unable to both open and close a 2 week dildo above since January of 2018 all the way over here. And ever since then, it's actually been the major resistance going all the way through. Now, you will notice that we actually did close above it in July of last year, but not able to both open and close above it, which to me just offers up the opportunity for a hunt. As you can see right here, just immediately faded on the next move. Anyways, that red 10 simple is again coming in right around actually a little bit above 3,900. It's 39.10, so right in confluence with the daily 89. If we do close above this, I would be looking for a run probably around, on this guy would look around 43.50. So again, when it comes down to it, where am I looking for on this move? If it does get some more continuation, 4,200, I think extremely likely. 43.50, 4,400 is where it gets a little bit more interesting. But we still do have these two moving averages crossing the downside of each other, which would say that the overall trend is still to the downside, which I'd agree with. We're not really making higher highs until we actually take out and start closing some higher level dildos above 4,100 or so. On the weekly, on the 2 week, which again will be closing this Sunday at 7 p.m. Sorry, not 7, but 8 p.m. Eastern time. And this would be a short-term change of behavior if this were to happen, and would tell me that overall I'd be looking for a more extended run into the 4,000s and spend some time in this area. Again, like I said, you're gonna have your pumps in your bear market, you're gonna have your dumps in your bull market, but this can certainly have some juice to it. Depending upon where we close these next higher time frames. But to me, it's if going off the lower time frames, I would be saying that it looks like it's going to happen. It does look like it's going to happen to me. So again, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, it is a weekend. I'm trying to find counterpoints because I don't want to be too one-sided with looking for just bullish stuff. But it is the weekend, and the weekend has been notorious for major hunts, which it is very interesting to me that as soon as the CMEs closed, as soon as stock market closed, that was when you saw Bitcoin actually take out that resistance on the lower timeframes, that critical 3930-ish area, which does make me a little bit skeptical, because the last time that we really did that was, well, this area right here, where, we spent the whole week kind of grinding a major resistance, kind of like we did right over here. And then as soon as Saturday hits, as soon as we get that new massive girthy dildo, well, that's when that's when the hunt happened, done on relatively low volume, which so far, is a little bit lackluster as well. So I am a little bit defensive about that. I think it's a little bit less likely to happen, but this would have been so much more cut and dry if it happened on a weekday. So that would be probably my biggest criticism of this move. The volume, the lack of conviction, and the fact that it's just on a weekend. But for all intents and purposes, I would be respectful of it. For now. Like I said, only major resistances that I see coming in this region is the 2-day 50 exponential. Maybe the 3-day has some around here as well. No, it does not. It's all the way at 43.50. So yeah, we actually have multiple things pointing to 43.50. So yeah, overall, that would be essentially what I'm looking for. I'm curious, how are the other market leaders holding up right now? I'm guessing that Mrs. Litecoin probably did something pretty crazy last night, and she did. She had a very phenomenal move. Daily closing extremely strong, and I don't really see anything stopping her from about 64. Is it 64? No, 63 and a half, $64. Yeah, I don't really see anything stopping her from that. If we put on the drawing tools, you will notice that there is there should be a massive horizontal right here. In fact, I don't have it in right now, but there we go. And it's also a 377 on the daily. If we do hit this area around 63 and a half, $64, I'd imagine that puts Bitcoin somewhere around that 4,100-ish area. And then I'd be looking for a pullback right there. We do have daily Stokes actually crossing back up. We do have daily RSI bucking the trend right here. So what could have been what was 1, 2, 3, 4 touch bearish divergence is unlikely to play out. It's unlikely to play out. Especially with making a higher high for that last one, that was very critical. So Mrs. Litecoin, once again, the best argument for perhaps the market cycle changing around, but still has to get through that $64 area. But I don't see anything really stopping her from that area right now. Overall, good setup. Definitely one of the better looking charts out of the top market caps, as it has been for the past, well, I don't know, like, Jesus Christ, man, like a month or two. It's definitely had the better responses. Still in the context of this overall ascending broadening wedge, which is typically a bearishly resolved pattern, and where that resistance of this pattern be coming in around $64, right around all that area. So I would be looking for a pullback right there. At the very least, I'd look for a pullback into consolidation, but I wouldn't get bearish on this. And really, when it comes down to playing a pattern, I wouldn't get bearish on it until it actually breaks the pattern, as that would be initiated by a move down below about $50. So as you can see, Mrs. Litecoin's got a lot of work to do right now, and she deserves a lot of respect. Actually, she's a very independent and proud woman, and she don't need no Bitcoin to rally. Actually, she's been leading the market to the upside, and very, 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 very impressive. In fact, Mrs. Litecoin did lead the whole crypto market out of the bear market in 2014, 2015. We can just go back and verify this really quickly. Here's the same sort of downtrend that we saw in 2014, 2015. Mrs. Litecoin bucking the trend out. I would argue right here officially in late June of 2015, and we have the same thing from Mr. Bitcoin bucking the trend right here, I would argue, which was November of 2015. So actually initiating it like 3-4 months beforehand. So could Mrs. Litecoin be a harbinger of light for this market? Perhaps, but again, I don't believe that the overall lows for this market are in, as most of the major, all of the major things that I look forward to be demonstrative of a major market cycle low have just not been hit. Even with this move, of course, things can get drawn out, but let me just remind myself, and also perhaps you, the macro areas that I'm looking for to be demonstrative of a new macro direction being put in on Bitcoin, aka how do I know that I'm going to be wrong about the lows not being in with price action? Because of course, with every sort of with every sort of potential idea, there has to be a trigger for when I know that I'm wrong, and I would know that I'm wrong first and foremost, or at least I'd have my first big indication is if the 200 exponential right here on the weekly got taken out. And what I mean by taken out is, I mean, it needs to be both open and closed above on a weekly dodo time frame. That's coming in right around 4,100. So that has been governing all of our highs for the past 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, and perhaps, I mean, really don't see too much stopping us from there right now on the weekly. And if we could do that, I'd drastically change my tune on Bitcoin, but it wouldn't be enough in and of itself to both open and close above it. If we could close a monthly dodo, however, above the yellow 21 exponential, that would be a big deal to me. That would be a phenomenally big deal to me, and personally, I'd become instantly bullish off of that. The more traditional people would still say, you know, wait for 6,000 to be broken, which is the third and final most piece. But for myself, that would be good enough. That's all the way at 5,200 right now. Just for prior past sake, we do see that in 2014, 2015, once Bitcoin regained the yellow 21 exponential, that was when, you know, it actually went straight up for the next 3 years. So fair enough. You know, if that were to happen, I'd be bullish for the long term. Right now, that's obviously well and far away, but there's a couple things to be aware of on this chart, actually, because as these two moving averages approach each other, the red 10 simple and the yellow 21 exponential, that actually puts downwards pressure on price action, as a lot of the bots, a lot of the algos are going to be looking at that to signal just an intensification of their selling algorithms. And if we were to rally up maybe above 5,000 by end of month, then we will avert that crisis. But assuming that it does not, it will cross the downside. And then, of course, like I said, the third and final and most important, but you're probably going to know beforehand, but the most traditional way of doing it is that if Bitcoin got back above 6,000, zero reason to be bearish after that, to be very, 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 very clear. So again, for now, I guess you could say that I'm a cautious bull. I mean, that's not really right. Am I bull? Am I bull curious? I don't know. No, I'd be bullish on the lower time frames. You know, I'd look for a pullback relatively soon. Anywhere around 39.50, 39.60 would be okay. And as long as Bitcoin maintains above 39.50, I would say, you know, it's overall to be interpreted as good action. If I put back on the drawing tools right here, as long as we essentially maintain right above this critical area right here, which is technically, a few ticks below 39.50, I would be overall bullish for a move likely to 4,200 and beyond. So that's going to change probably a lot of the. It's probably going to start to change a lot of the overall picture. So we will have a lot of things to freshly discuss over the next coming weeks, which actually is exciting. Some more trade ideas. Anyways, we talked about GBTC. We talked about CME futures. Let's go look at the longs and shorts. Longs and shorts really have not moved all that much. Well, I guess they've moved a little bit. We've gained about 1,000 longs, as you'd imagine, and we've also gained about 1,000 shorts. So they're maintaining their overall posturing with amongst each other, but we're not getting the reaction that I'd be looking for on shorts coming into this red box territory that we've been speaking about for the past couple of weeks. As each and every time that Bitcoin has gone down in this red box territory for shorts, those are where the major dumps have emerged from. You know, this was your dump from 12,000 to 6,000. This was your dump from 10,000 to 6,000. This was your dump from 8,400 to 6,000. This was your dump from 6,300 to 3,000. And then getting this region, once again, we're actually pumping from it. To me, that is the first initial thing that is saying something new is going on from a medium time frame perspective. As this is not what this is against the former trend. So it's very good to realize this right now, because you don't want to get stuck into, you don't want to get, or at least I don't want to get stuck into a former way of thinking if it's not going to be working anymore. Of course, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and right now the trend is changing. So you can change with it or not. But longs, I mean, is there too much to be said about longs? Longs actually letting go a lot of their positions. Longs got all the way up to 24,500. Jesus Christ. Getting rid of their positions immediately. That is a little bit concerning. A lot of distribution going on. So people people don't have too much conviction with holding these positions right now. But I'd still overall say that longs definitely do have the upper hand right now. It's not like they're not getting liquidated; they're taking profits, whereas shorts getting liquidated. So again, looking at something like this, it is concerning, or maybe not concerning is the right word, but we do have something new going on. Most likely. Anyways, go check out Mr. Buterol. What's he doing? Mr. Buterol in Did he take out the critical 143, 144, and 144 area? Not confirmed just yet, actually. So Mr. Buterol, certainly the biggest laggard of the bunch, definitely the weakest of the big three. But if you can actually confirm above this area, 143.5, which looks pretty likely in the next 55 minutes and 25 seconds on this 4-hour dildo close, I'd be looking for a move over to about 152 and a quarter. So Mr. Buterol not having the same sort of reaction that we're seeing on Litecoin, on Bitcoin, which to me tells me that I'd adjust for it being, a degree weaker, which would probably put him around 152.5, 153 if it were to, if Bitcoin takes that next leg to 4150, something like that. Overall, Mr. Buterol has a lot of work to do. From the higher time frame perspective, it's not really until this girl gets back above 162.5 where like the higher time frame perspective starts to change around a little bit. Just this horizontal right here, kind of matching up with our last past prior highs. Also keep in mind that this is still forming the overall formation of a rising channel, which is typically a bearishly resolved pattern. But you do see that the pink 200 moving average is coming in right around where? Right around that 162, 161.5 high. So likely to be defended. If Mr. Buterol is allowed to get above there, I'd imagine that Bitcoin would be somewhere around 4350, 4400, and that also start to make a lot of sense as I'd imagine if Mr. Buterol does get back around this area, it's probably going to be a pretty nasty rejection. Whether it's 161.5, I mean, if that area gets taken out, we see Bitcoin's go somewhere right around 4,800, perhaps 4,700. Then maybe you see Mr. Buterol right around 181.5, 182. But I'm still not too convinced on him. Definitely the weakest of the bunch. So. Gonna have to play that one by ear. Daily Stokes still up, looking good. Daily RSI actually looking pretty damn good as well. So a lot of good indications here. And I do think that this one gets continuation with the overall market, but it's certainly the weakest of the bunch, which is not where, not the one that I want to be trading, especially if we're going to be going counter trend. Bitcoin in comparison looking a lot stronger, and Litecoin looking the strongest. So what else do we have to talk about? Let's go over, we haven't looked at the 8-hour. Yeah, 8-hour looks good to me. 8-hour 377 will be coming in right around that 4150, 100-ish area. So again, 8-hour RSI looking fine. I mean, all lower time frames look fine right now. It's the higher time frames that I just want to see start to confirm above these areas. It's the 12-hour is going to be the next big one. Again, 12-hour above the 200 exponential right here at around 4,000. That's going to be the next key of the puzzle. If it can close above there, I would be looking for more immediate continuation into the 4100s, actually, 4200 perhaps as well along the way. I'm curious how the other top shitcoins held up. We got Stellar over here. Stellar still looking, still actually grinding this area out. Will be presenting some bearish divergence on the 12 hours, you can see, and also being held in by the 200 exponential right around 11 cents, which is probably our horizontal resistance coming in right around here. Yes, it is. So as long as we're below there, I would be cautious of him, as this is technically making his own ascending broadening wedge, which is typically a bearish pattern, reaching towards all the major resistances. What is our 12-hour Stokes saying? They are technically up, but getting very mature. If we can break above about 11, let's call it 11 and a tenth cent, I would be looking for the full move to about 12.5, 13 cents, which would actually be another retest of the overall support trend line for the past year, which was broken in November, and we would actually be able to retest it, which I'd imagine would probably be rejected on first pass. So if it did pop back up to about 13 cents, about 13 cents, 12.5 to 13 cents, I would be a seller in that region for a pullback at the very least. But for now, still being beheld in by, of course, the 11 and a tenth cent region right here. We are getting some pretty good exponential moving average crosses going on in the daily. So I do think that it probably does. I think that it probably does get another leg and does try up. Seeing some good things here. What about daily Stokes? What are we doing here? Okay, not terrible. Getting a little bit mature. It hasn't really lasted too long in this region the past prior times. So that would be a little bit more on the side of the bears, I suppose. But price action first, as always, and you see this area actually taken out. I did forget to check out the crypto fear and greed index, which we'll get to right now. Actually ticking on a neutral. We actually ticked down from yesterday, funnily enough. Again, same sort of thing here, though. It is interesting to me that Bitcoin actually is taking a leg up, but the crypto fear and greed index actually going down a little bit. I mean, technically going down. I mean, by one, it's essentially been the same. That'd be a more bullish thing. Let's go check out Mr. We looked at Mr. Beetle. We looked at Mrs. Litecoin. Looked at Stellar. Let's go around at the rest of the shitcoins, and I'll do some more fundamental things for Bitcoin. But let's go look at BNB. How's he reacting? Did he join the rally? He did join the rally, but not breaking out of the lower time frames. We're in an ascending triangle. It looks like it wants to reaccumulate this area. Resistance is right around $15.34, we could say, and support's right around $14.75. If we do break to the downside, I would be looking for a full-on move down to about $13.82, and then probably overall $12.90. But for now, I mean, this is a bullish pattern. This is a this is a reaccumulation right here in an ascending triangle. The measure move, if we do break out to the upside again above $15.33, would be about $17.20. Actually, where does this go back towards? This is a pretty ancient horizontal now, isn't it? Going all the way back towards this area right here. Yeah, $17.25, $17.25. This is past prior highs. Not bad. So, technically BNB, Binance Coin, is actually the best looking chart, but I just don't put in the same category as the rest of cryptos. Now let's look at how well how like the Zcash's did. Zcash still is actually poking its head above the descending triangle resistance trend line, but you can see that yesterday we closed the day right at the edge of the trend line. So this is a pretty interesting area, as I need to see the daily close above $54 for me to say that this bearish pattern is broken out to the upside, which is typically a very powerful thing. And I'd be looking for a move to about $60 if that were to happen, and then overall probably $69, which is a great number. Well, let's go look at Bcash. Bcash, same thing, rounding out this ascending triangle. Yes, we are reaching above it today. Yes, we actually even reached all the way to the 89, and I'd imagine that we probably do find some resistance here, but I mean, this one looks like it wants to close. It really looks like it wants to close out above. Daily Stokes still up. Daily RSI looks fine. So looking at something like this, I'd be thinking to myself that very, 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 very likely to close above it. But we've actually already seen the move from like 140 to 160 essentially. So that was a move that I was looking for. I guess it happened all in one go. If we can close the daily above 144, you could say, then I'd be overall looking for a move probably somewhere around 195, 190-ish area. Tron Cash, is he joining the rally? Kind of, again, bouncing up. We said I was saying don't be bearish as long as it's above the 200 simple, and I think that it probably gets a free ride to test 2.5 cent probably. 2.5 cent will be the major resistance, also retesting in this inclining trend line right here. Also the purple 200 exponential on the daily. If we do get above there, then I would be looking for a full move, probably all the way over to almost 3 cents. But for now, still got a lot of work to do. 2.5 cents, I would imagine, would be a major resistance. Neocash, what's Neocash doing? Above the critical $9.40 region. Did not close the last daily above there, closed it right out there, but it's it really looks like it wants to go. I would be cognizant of this, that next resistance for him is actually quite above, right around $11, maybe even all the way to the 200 simple on the daily at around $11.90 and declining. But I would be a seller right around there, because this is still forming a rising channel, rising whatever the fuck you want to call it, with some major resistances and prior highs right above. So to me, that that's kind of the play that I'd be looking for. But overall, looking at this right here, not bad. I mean, very good setup on the RSI. Very good. Well, I mean, it's not really a good setup on the daily Stokes. They just have been good ever since this bottom right here, right around $8.80. What's EOS Cash doing? Is he above $4? Nope, not quite. In fact, just taking a stab at the 200 simple. It's a 200 exponential that I'd be really worried about. However, we are actually respecting the 200 simple, as you'd imagine. It's very likely to get some play, but until we can actually close above $4 even, I would be very skeptical of this. And if it can close above $4 even, I would be looking for a full move over to this horizontal right around $4.50. Let's see what else we got. Ripplecast. What's Ripplecash doing? Can I stop stuttering? Maybe. Probably not. And you can see right here, it's actually poking his head above this ascending triangle, which I would be looking for a move to about $33.50. We looked at this last night. I was thinking that looks like it wants to break out above, and I'm feel fairly confident that it will continue onwards and upwards. Overall, though, the big resistance that is this 34.5 cent region right here. that's where the actual picture starts to change. So as long as Mr. Ripple's nipples is below there, I wouldn't necessarily, it's a full-on free the nipple type moment just yet, but if he can get above there, that would be a free the nipple moment, as I'd be looking for a full-on move to probably around 40 cents after that, and then the picture has changed. It would start to look a lot different. For right now, though, I would feel pretty confident with 33.5 cent. It looks to me like it wants to go. That was exactly the close that you wanted to see yesterday, I believe. So as long as we're above 31.5 cent, and I do believe that we did close yesterday above 31.5. No, we did not. Oh, okay. Maybe that changes a little bit, but overall, it's going to follow whatever the rest of the market does. I mean, it's not like it's doing its own thing, right? Although it has at times. Monero Cash actually looking like one of the stronger ones as well, poking its head above this resistance trend line right here. But again, needs to close above it on the daily, which would be $54.07. If we can do that, then I would be looking for a move actually all the way to in this region right here at around 63 to 64 bucks. Let's see. I think that does it for all of the top shitcoins. Let's go back to Bitcoin. And I do want to talk about some more fundamental things now. So let's actually round out this discussion with looking at where our MBT signals are, as I am curious what he's doing right now. Okay, so MBT signal, bringing them up, and as you can see, we are reaching ever so high now. We're actually taking all the way up at a 135.25, which this thing will signal a red above 140, which is very important to me because as soon as this thing signals red, I do not want to be long. As historically speaking, anytime that it's signaled red, it has not been good for bulls. These have been major highs. This was your high at 20,000. This was your high. These were all of your bull traps above 6,000 right here. 8,000, 10,000, and all that good shit. If we scroll back a little bit more, getting the highs of the past prior market cycle right here, the bull trap, very, very similar bull trap to what we're doing to what we're dealing with, and of course the high of 2013, 2014, and then the high before that in 2013. So again, back testing it has been perfect, and that is why I'm also very cautious in this range. How much more can Bitcoin do without setting off the alarms? Because once, again, like I said, once this flashes red, I would be on severe caution. Yes, you can rally a little bit higher. I mean, this thing has gotten all the way up to, almost 200 before. And for reference, we're at about 135. But again, it's one of those things where I'd rather be safe than sorry. So looking at something like that, I also do want to be aware of the similarities between this past prior area in 2014, 2015, not as a fucking fractal, but actually as a legitimate fundamental type area in relation to what we're dealing with right here, right now. So as always, when I preface this discussion, I go back to the weekly and I say, there's a lot of similarities between these guys, not just in price action, but also in the actual indications themselves. We had a parabolic blow off top in 2014, 2015. It cools off, puts in a bull trap right here in the form of a descending triangle, breaks down, goes down for another 52, 53% drawdown. Well, we have the same thing in 2018, 2019. We have a parabolic blow off top, comes all the way down, puts in a descending triangle right here, breaks that descending triangle to the downside. We have a 52% move to the downside after that. And then, of course, your reaction over the course of the next 11 weeks was about a 25% bounce from the lows, and then very, very similar right over here over the course of about 17 or almost 8 weeks now, about 26% done over the course of almost 18 weeks now. And then when we bring back up the MBT zones we were just looking at, we can notice that there are fundamental underlying reasons, the network value divided by the daily transaction value, which is more of a fundamental indicator, suggests that we're actually in a very similar posturing as well in the market. Again, you have a very similar setup. We have the parabolic blow off top, signal red, come back down, putting your bull trap right here, signal red again, and then we land ourselves into this area right here, which, if we mark off, is right around the 80 mark. Right? 80 mark. And from there, I actually want to spend a little bit more time here. You see the first stab down into this area. We bounce off of it, come back down, base on this area again, and then put in a higher high on the MBT signal. Well, we're kind of doing the same thing actually. If we fast forward to 2018, 2019, you can see parabolic blow off top, red, come back down, put in your bull trap of 2018, red, come back down to this 80 marker, and then we based off of it a couple of times, and we're actually making significantly higher highs, obviously. So is something new going on? Yes. Well, is something new going on? As far as like the direct signature, no. or sorry, the answer would be yes to that. But as far as the overall interpretation of this, no, not just yet. Not unless we actually start to get back above about 150 on this marker. Anyways, my point is that even the underlying market dynamics are suggesting the same thing as well, something very similar, that when Bitcoin gets down to these levels, we see the same sort of action with the network value divided by the daily transaction value, which again is completely excluded from all of the price volume and time indicators that we just looked at on the spot charts. So when we're getting similar signatures in that, and then comparing it to these underlying market fundamentals, essentially, that starts to feel very eerie that we're getting a very similar signature in these similar sort of parts. So again, not a fractal. It can actually be easily verified with our more technicals, which I do put a lot more weight on. One being the MVT signal, and also now let's actually look at the moving averages, which Bitcoin, struggling along this area, putting in some time going sideways along the 21 exponential. Well, look at what happened in 2014, 2015. As I'd argue that this is a very similar reaction as well, where Bitcoin did make a couple of reaches above the 21 exponential, reaching even for the 89, which we're actually quite above right now, but struggling along it. And that would be my overall signal for changing around the medium time frames once again, if Bitcoin were to lose a 21 exponential. Because as you see right here, the second that we lose this, the second that we start opening and closing daily dildos below the 21, that's when it was sent on to its ultimate red dildo capitulation death hole. So again, that is what I'm monitoring right now as we continue to kind of struggle our way through here. It's going to really depend on where today's daily dildo closes. So that's going to be of great importance. But assuming that we close anywhere above 39.30, I do believe that we'll have something new going on. And this is the problem with fractals, because when I look at my moving averages, I can see very clearly that if we have something new going on in there, then some sort of fractal idea is not right. But when all these things line up as they are right now, I'll still be cognizant of this fact. So again, today's daily dildo would be very, 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 very important. Do we close above 39.30 or not? And my personal opinion is that we do. We see some more continuation. So. Let's go back. Let's actually put on the historical volatility rank as well. I'm curious what this one will be signaling. So we have had a nice little momentous move, but pretty lackluster as far as volume goes. So I'm curious how the volatility rank is handling this. And it is ticking up. Moving average on it is ticking up, but still kind of lackluster. I'd imagine that it'd be getting above this hump right here. So that is a little bit concerning. It is a weekend. By the way, one of the reasons why I don't believe that the ultimate low for Bitcoin is we've not put up major volatility on a major low. This has been another perfect indicator, just like the MVT signal, as we saw. Or I guess I didn't go through that explanation, but the MVT signal been actually perfect on all the lows of Bitcoin. Anyways, this guy as well has been pretty damn good. And the fact is, on a daily time frame, we're just not getting up to that point or 0.1 area, or sorry, 1 point area, which is where it typically does demonstrate major inflection points on the market. But for right now, we're actually not even getting that crazy on the daily. I would expect more. This is going to make me question a lot of my initial bullishness. Let's go down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, same thing. This is very bizarre. This is extremely bizarre. This is extremely bizarre, actually. I would expect to see this thing much higher. Are we doing something like this is the real question. Are we making some sort of consolidation going in through this area, coming back from late November? It could be. Yeah, it could be. This really opens up the possibilities of what's going on right now. That is concerning. That is a little bit concerning. So I would pay attention to that. That does make me rethink a lot of what I'm saying, but it's not a full-on signal in and of itself. I'd put more weight on the rest of what I've been saying. So far, I'd say there's been a lot more good things than bad things. So, more like 10 good things versus one bad thing is going to be heavily in favor of the good things, of course. Anyways, let's go check out, what else do we want to check out? Have I done this video long enough? Let's see. I do want to check on traditional markets just very quickly, very briefly. Did they close above 281? They did. Another close above 281. Again, not bearish on these guys until back below 270. I mean, 275, 274 and a half. I mean, it's daily golden cross gaining momentum away from each other. You see the divergence between the green 50 and the purple 200. That's very good. So back onto the Bitcoins, back onto the King Cone. And what is the hourly looking like if we go down to the very low time frames? Hourly does look like kind of wants to pull back a little bit. But like I said, anywhere around 39.50, 39.60, I'd probably be looking to be a little bit of a buyer. Volume on this, not too impressive for what should be a major breakout. I'd say that goes into the court of the bears as well. But overall, really nitpicking. This is also a weekend. You're probably not going to get the same volume that you would on a weekday. You know, it just comes with the territory. 4 hour, very, 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 very likely to close above this area. And that's pretty much good enough for me. I think also the 8 hour as well is going to be closing. Yes, it will be, and that's good enough for me. If the 8 hour closes above this area, I just don't see anything stopping it from 41, 41.50, 4200-ish area, anywhere right around the 377, which is currently coming down around low 41s. And it is the weekend, so it's time to it's time to force these guys around. I'm curious, what are their higher time frames doing? We got 10 hour golden cross is being respected so far. Let's go back to the 12 hour. 12 hours nowhere near getting golden cross. So okay, so this is the highest time frame with the most powerful. And let's actually go back through the history of Bitcoin. How's the golden cross on the 10-hour dildo time frame done for the past year during the overall bear market? Well, we didn't have one right here. It actually hinted at one for just a second, but negated right before. We did have one right here on this bull trap to 8,400. You can see once you got the golden cross, the green 50 and the purple 200, you did get that next leg above, a very nice leg. Actually, let's measure this one out, about 11.5%. And then it wasn't until we broke back down below the 21 exponential where gravity took on over. Let's see the time before that. Was there a time before that? Yeah, right here. Let's measure this one out. What was the percentage gain? About 11%. Not bad. And once we broke back down below the 21 exponential, all the way down to the low side of the range. Did we have a time before that? We did not. The time before that was like all the way down here at, $1,000 or $2,000. Anyways, let's see what this would look like if we were to put 10%, 11% on this guy. Yeah, that'd be exactly right around 4,200. That actually make a lot of sense. 4,200, 4,250. So do we make another higher in this area? Could be, yeah. And the trend has been in the past year that, once you get that, actually selling does occur, which would make a little bit of sense. Although for now, I think we have to take that one step at a time, or at least I have to take that one step at a time. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I wouldn't be bearish right now. I would not be bearish right now. I mean, this is not the right time to be bearish. Even in this range right here wasn't really the right time to be bearish. It was the right time only if we were to break below 3,800, which did not happen, of course. So for now, I'd be, if I could wrap up my thoughts in just a couple sentences, what I'd say is I'd be bullish as long as we're above 39.50. As long as Bitcoin maintains, 2 hour, 4 hour dildos above 39.50, I would not be bearish. I'd be bullish and probably looking to buy pullbacks. If we did break below 39.50, that would start to change the overall picture, but it's not until we actually still, again, break below 3,800 where that becomes confirmed for a move down to the low side of the range at 3,400. So I think I can sum up my thoughts like that. Again, the next big things to be aware of is the 12-hour 200 exponential right here, going to be closing the next 4 hours and 32 minutes. That's coming in right around about 4,000. So right now I'm maintaining just slightly above it, but even if it closed below it, it's not a death sentence. It would suggest be a little bit more cautious, but again, a lot can happen in 4 hours. So if we did close above, I'd be looking for more immediate continuations to that 4,200 level, as we just said. What else? I think that kind of does it. Maybe go back to the daily, end it off on the daily. Yeah, daily, as long as we close the daily above the 89 exponential, which does look extremely likely. Same thing with 39.50 level. You could use them interchangeably, and it's likely to line up with there in the next couple days as well. So yeah, that's what I'd be thinking right now. Bullish as long as we're above 39.50, and if Bitcoin were to break 39.50 to the downside, I would be looking for a move to about 3,800, but I still wouldn't even be bearish just then. It's not until we break 3,800 where I'd be a little bit more bearish on the overall structure of this. As far as this move goes, going to depend on where we close this next 12 hour. If we close it above 4,000, I would be looking for more immediate continuation to about 41.50, 4,200, and I think that's going to do it for today. But an absolute pleasure to speak with you as always. As always, I want to be wishing you the best Saturdays possible. Keep on forgetting to state this. Oh my God. If you are a graphical animator, if you know how to animate graphics and shit like that, I'd be happy to give you 50% off of any one of my programs that you desire for creating a very, just like a 6-second animation, a nice little GIF. Of course, I understand, people always hit me up and they say, Crown, you can literally just go into Fiverr or Upwork and you can pay $50 to have this done. But my point is that I'm looking for a very specific person. I'm looking for someone who might not be able to afford my programs, at face value, and give them a nice discount so we can actually, work together and have some value arbitrage. And then you can get into something that, maybe would have been a little bit out of reach beforehand. So of course, I want to offer that up. If that sounds like you, just reach out to me on Discord's the easiest way. It's very difficult for me to respond on YouTube because it's not so readily available. Email, not so good either. It's just much better for me if you hit me up on Discord. So yeah, I'll leave it with that. And of course, as always, wish you the best, the happiest Saturdays. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more live stream action. Oh, not live stream, video action, but I will be uploading another psychological series video today as well as always on Saturdays. And until next time, take care.